Hi. So using command prompt, we are going to install Apache web service on the virtual machine, and we're going to create a one-page website on it. So let's see how to do that. So we're back on our Azure portal, and we need to go to our virtual machine, and we select the virtual machine we created. And currently we need to start the virtual machine because it was stopped. Refresh it, and now we can see the virtual machine has successfully been started. As we can see here, as the status, it says running. And I want to copy the public IP address because I would use it in the command prompt to set up the Apache service, web service. So I'll copy the IP address and I'll open command prompt. As usual, I would put the SSH because that's what I want to use to log in with. Then Azure admin, which is my username. Then I will paste the IP address and connect. So it asks me if I want to continue. Say yes. Then I'll put in the password and continue. And now I'm logged into the VM on Azure. So I'm going to first of all to update the Ubuntu services on the Linux server. So to do that, I will connect as the super user. So sudo su, and now I'm connected as the root user. So I want to update the Ubuntu services. So I'll use sudo apt update, and I'll give it some time to update. And now the update has completed. So the next thing I need to do is to install the Apache web service. So to do that, we'll put in sudo apt install Apache 2, and we'll give it some time to install. Yes. And the installation has completed. So Apache has been installed. Then next we want to verify that the Apache web service is not installed and active. So we'll put that in sudo system status Apache 2. So let's see the status, and currently we can see is active and running. So let's connect to where the files are hosted. But before I do that, let me just test the localhost directory. Localhost. So we can see that is actually working. So let's check out the path working directory and where we currently are, and we can see is in the home and inside the Azure admin folder. So we need to go to the folder where the Apache file will be hosted. That's the web server files. So cd into the var folder, which has the www folder and inside the HTML folder. So currently we are now inside the HTML folder, and now let's confirm that we are in there by the path working directory, and we can see var www.html. So let's list the files that are inside that folder, and we can see we have index.html. So let's look into the index.html. So cat index .html, and you can see it's exactly the same file that we saw when we did call localhost. So what we want to do is to remove the file, then would create a new index.html file. So to do that, what we'll do is to move the index.html file to let's just call it backup.html file, right? So we've moved it. So let's now list and see. So we have moved the index.html file to the backup.html file, and at the same time it removed the index.html file. So what we need to do is to create another index.html file. So to do that, we're going to do nano index.html, and it will create the nano interface. So I created an HTML file for our web server 001, and that's what we have here. So I'm going to copy it and I'll paste it here. So that's what we have, and I'm going to save it. Yes. So I'm done, and we want to confirm what we have in that. So cat index.html, and we can confirm that we created the HTML web page. So let's go and permit the HTTP connection to the virtual machine so that we can be able to view the web page from the URL on our browser. So to do that, we'll come back to our virtual machine and we'll go to networking, and we can see that there is no HTTP rule. So we would add inbound port rule. Any is fine, source fine, destination fine, and service is the HTTP port 80, which is fine. TCP, yes. Allow, yes. And let's make this 300, and we'll say permit. So permit HTTP inbound access. I'll just use that for the description. So I'll add that. So it will take some time. So I will need to refresh. And now we have our permit HTTP inbound access rule. So let's go and test. So we'll go back to overview and we'll copy the public IP address, and let's open in a browser. And now we can see that our web server 001 is currently working and is showing us the web page which we were able to create. So this is how to install Apache in a virtual machine using the command prompt, and also how to create a one-page website and display on the virtual machine.